Okay, so I'm gonna try to show you the process that I use to create this sundrop effect from start to finish. So what we're gonna want to do is start off by priming the model black. This can be done with, a spray-on primer. I happen to be using a airbrush primer, but this could be done out of a spray can as well. Just wanted to let everyone know that what I'm using here, this little turntable, is just for decorating cakes. You can pick them up pretty cheap at most hobby stores. Yeah, these two I decided to go ahead and finish at the same time. They're the last two until I have the whole set completed. Originally I thought about painting these and just using them as an alternate miniature instead of the base models, but in the end I have plenty of backlog of things to paint, and with the sun drop effect that you can put on them, gives you a good base for future paint jobs. So you can leave them this way, paint over them at another point, and have yourself a good head start. And it looks really good. I really like this sun drop effect, and plan to use it for quite a few other games, including the Nemesis Kickstarter that I got. I like to give these a good base coating of primer, but it's not necessary to cover every last little bit of the model with black. Just give yourself a good primer coat. So at this point, we're going to want to apply some white. I tried to show the angle I put the brush on, but use a little bit of your own artistic ability. You want to come from the top as if, the sun is shining down on them. And with the airbrush, where it goes on so thin, you want to start off just a little light and keep going around, brighten them up a little bit more. I experimented a little bit with keeping them darker, and it looks good, but I found it looks best if they're a little bit wider than you think they should be. But each of you will have to come up with how much brightness you want it to be before you apply the mixture to them. As you can see, I just kind of keep applying a little bit more, and what we're doing when we're shooting it from this overhead angle is it's picking out those natural highlights, and we want that underside to be nice and dark to create those shadows and depths. It should also be noted it's not imperative that you have a airbrush for this. You could use a white primer out of a can. It could also be dry brushed on. I highly recommend getting yourself a makeup brush. They're nice soft bristles, and makes it really easy to dry brush that way. Here you can see I've created up a mixture I detailed in an earlier post, and I'm just dipping the model in there. Use the tweezers, allows me to move it around a little bit and not make such a mess of myself. This might have actually been the hardest one I did out of all of them, since I've used quite a bit of my mixture here. and it's a little taller, so it's a little hard to get it all, but once you have it nice and coated, you just want to tap it off a little bit. I used a little Dawn dish soap for my mixtures, a little drop to improve the flow. Sorry about that. Improve the flow. And so you might have to just blow it off just a little bit, but a little tap, a little dip works nice and good. And if you have a lot more of the mixture left, you can just completely submerge the model in here. It can also be painted on using a thicker brush, and you can just apply it very thickly. And definitely try out a couple practice minis first, so you don't go doing something you don't like. So get a couple older minis, try this process out, see how you like it, and I'd be anxious to see what people come up with. Keep in mind, when you make this mixture, I like to use the burnt umbra with just a little bit of black, but it can be made several different ways with greens or blues, whatever you might want to do. As you can see, I just set them there and they're already looking pretty good. And where the mixture's on there so thick, make sure it doesn't run out and stain your table or desk that you're working on, and just let them sit there and dry for a bit, and you'll have a nice, good effect.